All right, welcome. If you're prepping for any competitive exam, you know the feeling, right? One wrong answer and you could be out of the running. Well, today, we're not just going to study verbs, we're going to hack them. Think of this as your personal guide to mastering one of the trickiest, most mark-heavy topics on any English paper. So let's just get right to it. Why on earth are verb questions the easiest place to lose marks? You study the rules, you feel pretty good about it, but then you get into the exam hall and suddenly all the options look correct, and you end up losing points that you know you should have gotten. Sound familiar?
Well, here's the thing. It's totally by design. Examiners create these questions where the traps are literally hidden in plain sight. It looks super complicated, but it's really just a puzzle. And today, we're going to give you the keys to solve it.
Okay, here's our battle plan. We'll kick things off with the basics. Then we're going to expose the two biggest traps examiners set: subject-verb agreement and those tricky little verb forms. After that, we'll see how to actually use this knowledge to spot errors, and I'll wrap it all up by giving you a simple mastery plan. Sound good? Let's get started.
First things first. To disarm any trap, you gotta understand how it's built. For verbs, that means really getting the fundamental difference between main verbs and helping verbs. Seriously, this simple distinction is the key that unlocks everything else we're going to talk about.
And this really shows it perfectly. It's like verbs have two big families. You've got your main verbs. These are your action words, run, eat, study. Then you have the auxiliary or helping verbs. Think of them as a support crew. They're not the main event, but they give you all the critical background information.
So these helping verbs tell us about the state, the avasta, of the subject. It's not about what the subject is doing, but what condition it's in. And super importantly, they tell us the tense, present, past, or future. Words like is, was, have, and did, these are the building blocks that set the entire timeline for a sentence.
And now, let's talk about the first major exam trap: subject-verb agreement, or SVA. This is without a doubt the rule they test the most. And why is that? It's because there are just so many clever ways to hide the real subject of a sentence and trick you into picking the wrong verb.
And that is exactly why this is so important. I'm not kidding when I say this. Mastering just the common SVA traps can give your score an immediate, dramatic boost. So let's really dig in here.
Now this right here is a classic SVA trap. A number of basically just means many, so it needs a plural verb, like are. Pretty simple. But the number of refers to a specific amount, a single figure, so it takes a singular verb, like is. Examiners just love this one because it feels a little bit backward, and it catches so many people out.
And here are a few more that pop up all the time. The words each and every feel plural, right? But grammatically, they're singular. So, each student has. Same deal with either and neither. Use a singular verb. And definitely watch out for phrases like along with. The verb has to agree with the first subject. In this case, Ram, not his friends. So it's Ram is coming.
Okay, moving on to our second major trap: tricky verb forms. This is where examiners check if you know which form of a verb to use after certain words, especially modals like can, should, and did, or in sentences with gerunds and infinitives.
Now this is one of the golden rules of English grammar, and it's so important we pulled it directly from our source material. There are 0 exceptions to this. The word did, doesn't matter if it's in a question or a negative sentence, is always, and I mean always, followed by the base V1 form of the verb.
And here you see it in action. It's actually so easy to spot the mistake once you know the rule. It's not did not came, it's did not come. It's not did you completed, it's did you complete. Honestly, this one little rule can help you solve tons of spot the error questions.
Next up, we've got the gerund. This sounds way more complicated than it is. A gerund is just a verb that's dressed up like a noun. You just take a verb, add ing to the end, and then you can use it as the subject or object in your sentence. You're basically treating an action as a thing.
These examples make it crystal clear. Smoke is a verb, an action. But the act of smoking, that's the subject. So we have to use the gerund. Smoking is injurious. Same thing with read. The action of reading is the subject, so it becomes a gerund. Reading is a good habit. Easy, right?
All right, we've learned the rules, we've seen the traps. Now for the most important part. Let's apply this knowledge to a real exam-style question. This is where all that theory turns into actual marks on your paper.
Okay, let's put you on the spot. Here is a typical spot the error question, taken straight from a previous year's exam. Read it carefully. Rohit did not came to the office because he got held up in heavy traffic.
Can you see the mistake?
And there it is. The trap was using came right after did not. But the rule, which we just went over, is that did has to be followed by the base V1 form. So the fix is super simple. You change the past tense came to the base form come. The correct sentence is Rohit did not come. See?
So you see, this isn't about memorizing random stuff. The specific rules we're focusing on today are the exact keys you need to unlock the right answers and rack up marks in your exam. What you learn here directly translates to points on the board.
Okay, you've got the core knowledge now. But knowledge without action is pretty useless. So let's wrap this all up by turning what we've learned into a clear, simple plan to guarantee that you master verbs for your exam.
Here it is, your simple 3-step plan. First, just focus on the top 5 subject-verb agreement rules. We touched on a few today. Second, memorize those non-negotiable rules for modals, especially the do, did, and has-have families. And third, and this part is absolutely critical, you have to practice. 10 questions every single day. That's how you build the muscle memory you need to spot these errors in seconds.
This is the formula right here. It's not magic, it's a method. Consistent daily practice combined with smart revision of these key rules, well, that's the guaranteed path to success.
So that's your guide to hacking verbs. By focusing on these high-value traps, you're not just studying harder, you're studying way smarter. The only question left is, are you ready to go master the verb and claim those guaranteed marks?